if you remember, I thought I was just going to sell cars to St. Louis moms. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take like the SunTrust inventory and I'm going to do videos about these different cars that we have for sale. So I'd grab a Ford Explorer, I'd grab a Kia Sedona, and I would do videos on them. And, I got my first 1,000 followers pretty quickly because people were I was posting about it on my personal, it just kind of grew pretty organically. And I remember then I went to go check my insights to see like where my followers were. And St. Louis wasn't even in my top 5 cities. And I was like, oh, so this might be like a little bit bigger than St. Louis. And I was pregnant and I was looking through the cost of what it would cost because I was working at the dealership still part-time. But, 2 kids in daycare, it just like wasn't really penciling. So I remember telling myself, I'm going to give myself till my due date to see if I can like actually make the car mom a thing. Because if not, I'm probably going to stop working. Like I'm not going to go back to the dealership working. I'll be a stay-at-home mom. I was like, but if I can have 10,000 followers by October, and I started this in June, I was like, I would probably have a chance to like take this thing full time. And the day my daughter was born, I had 14,000 followers. So I had just made it. And that was in October. And then by March, I hit 100,000. And that's when we really started to see the potential and see where this thing was going to go.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the show a little bit. Man, maybe you can talk about the responsibility that you feel for getting the story right. How much responsibility is there?
I think, other influencers, they are telling you to buy a new lip gloss or a top or maybe a rug and like really splurge. But I realized that what I was influencing was life-changing purchases. And that felt kind of scary and kind of like a lot of pressure. And it's still scary. I mean, if I tell everyone I like a car and the next day that car comes out with an intense recall, like I don't like to see that. And I hold that, I hold that pressure with me. So I wanted to do everything I could to deliver the best types of content. So one of the things I did as soon as I thought this was really going to take off was I got my child passenger certification. So now I'm a nationally certified CPST, which is something that a lot of other car reviewers don't even bother doing. Because I mean, it's a pretty intense like certification process. Like, you have to do X amount of car seat installations every single year. You have to get recertified every 2 years. But that was really important to me to be able to speak about these cars. So I did that. And I've just really, it's kind of funny. Like I wasn't that big of a car person before any of this started. I liked selling cars and, I learned about what I had to learn about. But now now I just obsess over reading about every single family car, how everything works. And I probably install, I would say over 500 car seats every single year in different types of vehicles. Like, I'm installing probably at least 2 car seats almost every single day. So I feel like now, 4 years in, I have the experience to share, how I think these cars operate for families. But I'm really now just starting to get the confidence to like even make more bold statements. Like, here are the top cars that I like. Because before I was always too scared to do that. But now I'm finally like, okay, no one's done this more. I don't think anyone's done this more than me. I'm ready to share what I know.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Have you become a car person now?
Yeah, no, now I am a car person, which is fun.
1,000%. Yeah. What is it you feel about your approach, Kelly, that fuels the popularity?
I do think it's looking at cars in a different perspective. And we also make things very fun and authentic to me. And I just take things seriously. Like I take things seriously that I feel like other people kind of make as a joke. Like I think the cup holders in a vehicle are very important.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
I think that's important. I think where you put your purse is important. And some people want to like, poke fun at like, oh, look, mom, place for your giant purse. They're like, look, all the Starbucks you can fit. And they're like kind of saying it as satire, but I'm like, okay, well, all I see on the internet are these videos of people taking Jeeps off-roading. How many of you are actually taking your Jeeps off-roading? Like none of you. I'm using my cup holder. I'm using my cup holder every single day. And like, why is that not important? A mom spends more time. I guarantee a mom spends more time in her car than the average car person. Do you know how many different activities I'm driving to? How many different pickups I'm doing? I'm in my car all the time. And that's important. So like, no, it is important how many cup holders I have. No, I would like to know where my purse is going to go. So I've just like taken it very seriously, taken things that I think haven't always been highlighted seriously. And then of course we also have, I'm also just kind of doing my content in my own way. And this is something my sister reminds me a lot of. Like when you're kind of like I don't even call myself a disruptor, but when you don't have someone else you're following, like someone else's formula you're following, you can kind of do whatever you want. So we do a lot of car content. I do a lot of other content. Like I do a lot of mom related content. And that I just think helps really build a community and helps people really trust me. Because maybe, they made one of my recipes and they're like, okay, that was great. And it kind of like feeds into the community, which sounds silly to hear about a car reviewer having a good broccoli recipe, but that's just kind of all part of the brand.
You just talked about chicken broccoli casserole.
I'm making it tonight.
Right. I saw that. You went to Costco and you bought the broccoli. You've branched out into other areas too, right?
Yeah.
But I like what you just said. You're building a community. It's not just where the cup holders are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it fun for me. And I like sharing. I mean, it's the car mom, so it's cars and moms. That's what we're doing. And we're kind of just combining the two any way that we can.